guys, so yesterday I posted about the introduction to this new experiment that I'm going to do with this personal development book and sharing some of the things that I'm learning with I Am That Girl. So this is technically going to be day number 1, but as I was thinking about it last night, I realized that if every day I just post a video about what I'm reading, it's just going to be like a giant lecture, and that's stupid. Like, obviously people don't want to listen to somebody else telling them how to live their life with no abundant proof that it's working. So after thinking about it a little bit more, I'm going to make a change to that statement. And I'm going to post one new video every week about one of the ideas that I've learned. And then later in that week I'm going to post again about that same idea, only I'm going to talk about how I've implemented it into my life and what I've noticed. And I'm going to give you that experience, not just tell you, hey, you should do this because it's really smart, but I'm going to show you that it does make a difference. And not only am I going to better myself doing this, but I'm going to give you an idea of how it can help you. So in the first part of I Am That Girl, she talks about finding your passion. And I've kind of talked about this a little bit before in these videos, but I think that Alexis Jones really goes into more detail about how it's possible for you to branch out and really find what you like to do in a way that I never really would have thought of doing. She says that you have to do what scares you. You have to make yourself uncomfortable and try new things in order to find out what it is that you really like. So kind of think of it as, if you're not comfortable doing it, if it's something that's outside your comfort zone, it's going to be awkward, it's going to be hard, it's going to be scary, but will it make you a better person? Or is it going to help somebody else to be a better person? And in a way, I'm already implementing this step because these video posts, for me, super scary. Like, this is something that I hate doing. I hate talking into the computer and making a video and posting it online for everybody. Joining my accountability groups was something scary for me because I was watching what everybody else was doing and thinking, wow, that's a really good idea and I should do that too. But then actually trying to do it was something that was hard for me. It was hard for me to get used to seeing everybody else and not comparing myself to them, but working with them. It's different. It takes getting used to. But in order to kind of go after your dreams, you have to do these things. You have to make yourself uncomfortable, because if you don't get outside of your comfort zone, how are you ever going to know what you truly, really like to do or what makes you happy? And if you're not happy, you can't expect the people around you to be happy either. And you have to think of it as your passion doesn't need to be something that is constantly the same. As time changes, people change, which means your passion is probably going to change too. And that's okay. You don't have to say that I'm a writer, I'm talented, and that's what I do, and that's what you do for your entire life. Try new things. You might find that your passion lies in a much broader range of things. And sometimes, you have to think of it as a journey, an ever-changing journey. So you don't want to say, I'm on this path to what I want to do with my life, and that's great, and I'm not coming off of it. Sometimes you have to take the road less traveled, which means you're going to take those bumps and those hills and those rocky cliffs, and that's okay. You're not always going to have smooth sailing. And you just have to come to peace with that, with yourself, and know that this journey may not be easy. This journey may not be exactly what I thought it was going to be. And you have to realize that you may find during your journey that you're interested in things that you didn't even know you were interested in. Because the journey is about finding yourself and your passion. Not what your partner wants, not what your mom and dad think, but what you want and what your passion is what you have to find to make yourself happy. And sometimes doing that, you have to sit with yourself every day. And, when I first heard that phrase, sit with yourself, I'm like, okay, that's weird. And for some people, that's meditating, it's journaling, it's just listening to some calm music. You never know what it's going to be. Um, but you have to sit with yourself and you have to think, what have I achieved? What have I done this week or even today or last week that I'm really proud of? That I didn't think I was going to be able to accomplish. And then on the flip side, think about something that you were disappointed with, something that you knew you could have worked harder on, something that you didn't do that you should have done, something that maybe you felt you could have tried harder and you didn't. Really think about those things too, because sometimes while you can't go back and change it, you can be prepared for the next time that it happens. And, if you have to, get out your journal or a piece of paper and write down your priorities. What is most important for you at this time in your life? What do you need to make sure you accomplish every single day to make sure that you're staying happy? If that means getting up in the morning and working out, eating right and meal prepping, if you're on a fitness journey, those things are great. But even in your emotional and physical life, blending them together, what is your priority? What do you want to do most? And really sit down and think about those things. And then you need to think about, do your priorities match what you're doing? Are you making sure that you're actually getting to make those things on your priority list a priority? Are you spending time with your family? Are you going out there and trying new things? If those are things that are on your priority list, you need to make sure that you're actually doing them. Follow through with them. Don't just write them down and be like, man, I wish I could be there. Make them happen. The more you think that you can do these things, the better off you'll be, because things will actually start to happen for you. And I know it sounds cliche, but it actually happens that way. And you gotta ask yourself every day, how am I feeling? Am I feeling happy-go-lucky, strong today, or do I need to give myself that extra pep talk because I'm kind of down? And be okay with that. It's okay if you're having a bad day. It's okay if you need that extra pep talk. I go through it myself. There are days where I'm perfectly fine all day long, and then there are days where I have to force myself out of bed. And that's okay. That's normal. And you shouldn't get down on yourself for having those bad days. You should be okay with it and say, hey, today's a bad day, but I'm going to get through it. And then kind of go through your goals. Ask yourself, okay, this is my priority. What is my goal that goes with that priority, and how am I going to achieve that goal? And then you need to focus on who you are being, not just on what you're doing. Because it's kind of like this video. If I were to sit here and give you all these principles and these ideas about finding your passion and finding what makes you happy, and then not try to implement them myself in my own life, that's making me a hypocrite. And, it's not so much about knowing that you're doing these things, but it's making sure that you're being the person that you want to be and need to be to get to your goals. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this is you really, for week 1, have to dive down deep. You have to figure out what makes you happy. What are your priorities? What are your goals? And how can you get there? And it doesn't seem like it's that hard, but you'll actually be really surprised when you take a minute and sit down with yourself and you're not thinking, okay, this is my 10,000 to-do list this week, and I have to do this for my husband and do this for my kids, and I've got to go here for work. Really take all of that out and focus on you. What makes you happy? What are your goals? Your goals, not somebody else's, not what you should do for somebody else. What do you want to do for yourself? And how are your priorities and your goals put together so that you can achieve them? What do you need to do to make sure they happen? So give it some thought. And we'll meet back at the end of the week and we'll see how it goes. Have a good day.